This is the Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor and the afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you have a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording. KC9VKV.
And 3GW.
There's something at GW. Come back with the call sign again, please.
November 3, Sierra Golf Whiskey.
Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
The name is Keith, Kilo Echo India Tango Hotel, and I'm located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Keith, well, listen, I'm checking out some SDRs up in Pennsylvania. Let me switch over and see what we got. Stand by. How about it, Keith? You got a copy? How about it, Keith? Got a copy? No, did not hear you on the SDR, so here we are. What radio are you running, sir?
I'm running an ICOM IC7300, and I'm just running a Ultramax 100, which is a 24-foot piece of wire into a 9-to-1 on a vertical pole.
Roger, Roger. What mic are you running, sir?
Oh, it's stock. Is it too high?
No. What, stock what? Is the hand mic?
Yeah, it's a stock hand mic.
Roger, Roger. And what kind of EQ are you running on it?
I had somebody help me set it up the other day. I'm just running 5 compression and 35% on the mic gain, and nothing else.
Roger. Okay, now you have to work that hand mic to the side of your mouth. You want to work that hand mic across, you want to speak across the mic as opposed to directly into it, because that mic is subject to plosives and transients, and the only way you can use it very nicely is to the side and across it. Roger?
Yeah, you know what? I keep forgetting that, James. You're absolutely right. Is this any better?
Oh, yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir. I would suggest maybe just a tad more top end, maybe a couple of clicks on the high side on EQ if you got it there.
Yeah, no, not really. I'd have to go into and set it up. I really haven't done too much as far as changing the audio.
Roger that. Well, usually that stock hand mic, it does beautifully. It has a nice top end. For some reason that one doesn't sound quite as bright as they normally do, and that's why I was suggesting maybe a little bit of top end EQ. But when you get the chance and the desire, maybe you might check that out, Roger.
All right, is that too much on the top? I put it up like 3 more.
No, that's fine. That really adds a lot of articulation to your audio definition. Like in a marginal situation, the first thing that goes is being able to perceive what the words are. You can hear the words, but you can't quite understand them. And that added top end really helps to clarify in marginal situations and just in general.
Yeah, okay. I forgot that I could go into the software-defined radio, go in and set the menu and actually change that. And I found it rather quickly, so I am learning about the radio. I've had it for almost a year. I still don't know all the settings.
Oh, Roger that. Well, 7300 can be intimidating. It is a multifaceted radio, and it can be intimidating. So, the thing is just to, find out more about it on a weekly basis, and, and no rush. And you're an excellent example. Like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, would you feel comfortable doing what you just did?
Yeah, copy that. James, what kind of signal am I putting out your direction?
All right. Now, I can't run my S meter because I'm running reduced RF in the front end of the radio, but I can give you I'm looking at your audio output on a VU meter, and I've got your VU meter adjustment at 0 level for the peaks of your voice, and then when you're not speaking, the meter falls down and begins to read my residual noise level. So you are giving me 10 dB above my residual noise level, Roger.
All right, copy that. Yep, I understand. And yeah, your audio is nice and clear, and you're definitely staying right up. I know band conditions aren't real good right now, but you're definitely keeping up with the 9 on the S meter, and definitely sound good.
Roger, and you likewise, like I say, consistent 10 over my noise level. And in a lot of ways, my 10 over my residual noise level is like a typical S meter 10 over. I mean, it really is very similar because your signal is very good. But I am endorsing kickers today. I mean, if, if you're going to be heard on a daily basis, rain or shine, you're probably going to need about 300 watts or thereabouts to really get down the road. And it's unfortunate that it has come to that, but with the 40 meters on a daily basis being not that conducive to transmissions in the 500-mile range, I definitely would suggest a little more in the closet, Roger.
Most definitely. I found that to be very true, James. I am presently, and I really do appreciate your help with setting up the audio better. I really do, because I don't really listen to it myself, so I really don't know how it sounds like, so I appreciate you helping me with that. And I am running 50 watts out of the icon into an old but new SB200, all 100% rebuilt. And so I'm running probably around 400 PEP. So, and it does help. Without it, the signal wouldn't be nearly as good, especially when the conditions are bad like today. And 3SGW.
Roger. And, the thing is also that you want to be sure and run your ALC at mid-scale to a 2/3. Some folks back down in their audio and think that they can just back down in their audio to drive their amp at a lesser wattage. But it's a lot smarter to drive your ALC at 50 at mid-scale to a 2/3 and then back down on your RF output. Keep your ALC running normally, and still running about a 3 on the compressor, about a third of the capabilities of the compressor, and then adjust back down on the RF output of the radio to get your box running correctly. Roger.
Yeah, I did some testing, and I found that out that the amplifier wasn't being driven hardly at all when I didn't have, I had the compression down low. It actually wasn't driving the amp, and the ALC having it where it is, which is at about right around a 10 to 15. It seems to, it seems to work well. The compression to 10 to 15. It seems to work real well, and the ALC is about half scale, and it seems to work good like this. And the amp, you can see it's definitely being driven like it should be instead of the way it was before, where I ended up running more watts to try and get any kind of power out of the amp, which don't really need to do. I never run this amp with more than 50 watts, pretty much ever.
Roger that. Well, the ALC is looking at the output of the limiter. Not the compressor, but it's looking at the output of the limiter. And when you start pushing that ALC up to mid-scale, you're getting an additional about, it interpolates to a 3 dB dynamic range modulation. Between mid-scale on the ALC and about a third of the compressor running, you'll wind up with about a 3 dB dynamic range, and that's a fat signal. Roger.
Roger that. Yes, when I bought this radio, my first radio, didn't have all of these features at all, and it wasn't nearly as complicated.
Oh, Roger, yes, 7300, like I say, can be intimidating, but you've got a lifetime to learn, and so I would just suggest, on a weekly basis, trying to learn a new facet about that radio. The main thing is that you go through and you make sure that you're in the highest width. You want to be as wide as you can, out to 2100 to 2900. And you have to be careful that you check all of the possibilities of changing that, because just one of those change to another width will modify the radio. So be sure that all conditions are 100 to 2900. Roger.
Oh, copy that. Is that on the TBW? You're talking about like the bandwidth?
Roger that.
Yeah, because I found that I had it set for medium or narrow because I was told it was better for DX. When in fact, that wasn't the case, and it didn't work very well. And the amp also wasn't being driven because of that, and having it as wide as possible seems to be the best setting.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Anytime you start losing top end by restricting the bandpass, you're sacrificing intelligibility. There's a lot of folks that just want to, restrict that to a minimum when they're DXing, and that's so foolish because when you start pulling down the top end, you're pulling down the intelligibility, and in a dogfight, you need everything going for you you can, so why would you sacrifice the ability for somebody to hear you?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think on digital mode, the bandwidth, having it narrow might make a difference. But when on sideband, definitely SSB definitely need to have the on wide for it to work properly. I definitely, that's true. I did learn that. And James, very nice to get this information from you. I really appreciate talking to you today. I'm glad I got to meet up with you.
Roger, Keith. Well, let me say 3 is that away, sir, and you're coming along. Hopefully you'll be able to check in next week, same time, same place, and we'll see what's going on. Compare notes, Roger.
All right, James, and thank you once again, and I'll make it a point to do that. Can I catch you on this band, on this frequency?
Usually we're on 7189, but we're trying to avoid a little blow-by 1 click up, Roger.
I'll copy that. Yeah, okay. All right, well, once again, I appreciate it, and I'm going to I got some stuff I got to do. So, 73, and great to meet your acquaintance, and Happy New Year to you, sir, and have a great day.
Roger. Likewise, Keith. 3's to you, sir, and have a good afternoon. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and the Qso-Vlog program. If you've got a radio or you want to check the audio, we are recording between now and 5 Eastern, and we'll get you on not tape, but but digital, and then upload to YouTube, and then you'll be able to check yourself and hear your audio. And while you're there, you could check. It's an hour and a half. Program, so there's other folks in there. You could maybe check and see how your audio stacks up against their audio. All kinds of things. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor.
November 4, Foxtrot X-Ray Zulu.
November 4, Foxtrot what?
Foxtrot X-Ray Zulu.
Yes, sir. This is KC9VKV. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. The name is Rick, R-I-C-K, and I'm located in North Georgia, 60 miles north of Atlanta. Over.
Roger. And how much power are you running, sir?
I'm running 100 watts in a wire, sir.
Sounding good. You're about 8 dB above my noise level, Roger.
Roger. I'm running a Yaesu FT991 Alpha, and I'm using a Heil Pro 7 headset. Over.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. What's your antenna system?
I have a MFJ NFED wire dipole. It's cut for 80 meters, and it's sloper up to the top of a 90-foot pine tree. Over.
Oh, roger that. You might think about maybe adding just a little bit of top end to your audio, just a little bit, a couple of clicks or so, just for intelligibility. Those boom mics have a lot of stuff going for them, and then they have some problems too. You know, you work so close to them that they have to have a very good windscreen. You know, and sometimes there is a slight frequency discrimination possibly on the top end, but by and large, you know, I think you know, there's so much of a vast difference between HF and VHF and UHF, and I think HF could go a long way in closing that range by a little top-end EQ. Roger?
Roger, I'll have to go into the menu and search for that setting, because this radio is mostly digital settings through the display. Over.
Roger that. Roger that. I would leave 1K where it is, middle EQ where it is, and I would just crank in a couple or three clicks on the top end, and I think that would help things out. But good sound, sir. Good signal.
All right. I really appreciate your input, and thanks for what you're doing for us out here.
Roger, Roger. Come back with the call sign phonetically, slowly, please.
Yes, sir. It's November 4, Foxtrot, X-Ray, Zulu.
Roger, Roger, Rick. Thank you so much, sir, and we will be posting this in the next couple of days, probably sooner, but don't hold me to that. At least we will be posting it by a couple of days from now, and so you could go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and that will bring up the Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll be looking for a session that's called My Group Aircheck 1/4/19. Today's date, 1/4/19. Roger?
Thanks very much for the information. Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. This is November 4, Foxtrot.
Roger, Roger, Rick, and we timed that just perfectly because Mother Nature was pulling your signal way down there right at the end. But there's enough there in the earlier parts that you can hear your audio good. So yeah, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, you'll find it. Now, I think you'll hear that maybe you might need a little more on the top end to clarify things. 3 set away, Rick, and we'll catch you later. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. We run between 3:30 and 5, recording, air checking signals, and if you have a radio, you want to check out your audio, give us a shout. We'll record it and post it up on YouTube. It's KC9VKV.
K4 Bravo India Whiskey, K4 BIW.
BIW, come back with the front of that call sign.
Yeah, Kilowatt 4, Bravo India Whiskey.
Roger, Roger, and the name?
Name is Dave, Delta Alpha Victoria Echo. Go ahead, sir.
Roger, Roger, and Dave, where about you be, sir?
Yeah, we're up here in northwest Georgia. We're, I think we're probably going to be in North Georgia.
Roger, Roger. I was just checking out one of the SDR receivers, but so far not a good situation. Much better on my local receiver. It's really strange, trying to figure out how to get some SDRs maybe down towards the south of me there. The whole thing is to be able to get the signal as clean as possible, so folks can hear their audio best. And sometimes it's difficult if that signal is only a couple of dB, but be above the noise level. Roger.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it sure does make a difference. No doubt about it. You're a good 20 over up here in North Georgia, and we're on a ground-mounted vertical, which working quite well since the pasture is a swamp right now. Go ahead.
Roger, on the swamp. Well, do you think that the ground conductivity is enhanced by that situation?
I think it probably helps. We've got about, got a lot of radials underneath it, need some more, and the impedance of the antenna was right around 41 ohms, and hopefully we can get it back down to about maybe, about 32, 36 ohms, which would be ideal. Go ahead.
Right, now you're showing SWR when you run higher impedance, is that correct?
No, not so much. We've got a 2-to-1 transformer, wideband transformer out there at the what I refer to as a little doghouse, little gray box, and which works quite well. The antenna is pretty flat from right around the CW band all the way past a little bit past 7200, and that's about where we've got it cut for. Go ahead.
Oh, roger that. Roger that. Well, sounds good. Getting some blow by here, but that's the thing, man. When the band gets to be decent, then you start catching blow by, and where it comes from, it's probably somebody closer than 2KC up or down, and it just it's a wonder where they come from. If you've been transmitting and all of a sudden the blow by starts, it's a wonder why that is. But anyway, and you're sounding good, sir.
Okay, yeah, real good. Yeah, we're running an ICOM 7300 right now, and the microphone is plugged directly into the ICOM, and just using the internal equalizer. Don't know how it sounds, but hopefully it sounds half as good as yours does. Go ahead.
Oh, roger. Now, is that the stock hand mic?
No, negative.
What is that, sir?
Okay. The microphone we're running into it is a broadcast microphone. It's a Shure SM27, Sugar Mic 27, which requires phantom power, but the 9 volts or so out of the radio is enough to fire it up and make it happy. So we're about maybe a good foot away from the microphone, just talking normal. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, roger. Yeah, that's beautiful. Now, the ICOM was so smart, putting a voltage on the audio pin, so somebody can easily add a condenser mic. Matter of fact, that stock hand mic that the radio came with is a condenser mic, and it's and most folks just can't wait to rip that hand mic off and put a desk mic on, and most desk mics are dynamic, and so right out of the bag there, when they pull that hand mic off and put the desk mic on and it's a dynamic, they've lost probably 5 or 6 dB in the top end, right?
They lose some money.
If you look at the audio analyzer, it will definitely display that, no doubt about it.
You guys are camped pretty quick.
Yeah, we use the SM30 on it from time to time, but that was getting in my way here on the desk. So, this old boom sticking over here, and one of my old broadcast microphones, and it seemed to be pretty flat. Nobody's complained about it so much anymore, and at least I haven't heard any major complaints. Maybe it's because they're just being nice to me. Go ahead.
No, sir, you have beautiful audio there, and I think my Elmer's joined us. Lou, are you there?
Yeah, can we go to 7187? 7187. The guys up are having the net on 7192. I think we're better off on 7187. Over.
Sounds good to me. Let's go to 7187.
And that is happening up there. This is a 9 GTO, and the sadness of it is a lot of those 7300 microphones, the guys take them off, and they don't realize they're a $70 microphone. They don't give those microphones away. So, and I'm talking on one now. I've been thinking seriously about just taking the RA27 and putting a capacitor in line to block the DC and just plug it right into the front end of the 7300. I've got 2 of them over here. I thought, well, that might be the ideal situation since I do like boom mics. But back to you, Jim, and you can introduce me to the friend you're chatting with.
Where'd you guys come from?
That's my Elmer right there, sir. That is my Elmer. And he's running what? I'm not sure. He has one big tube. It's about the size of a 50-gallon drum, and he won't tell me exactly what it does. But my lights dim when he keys up, and he's 3 miles away.
Well, he should ask if the frequencies he used before he jumps on here.
Well, is the frequency in use, may I ask?
Well, it was, but you guys go ahead.
Well, thank you, sir. We're vagabonds. We are drifters from 7189. I had moved up earlier to conduct our Qso-Vlog program to 7190. And then my OMNI said that there's a net going on 7192, so we dropped down to 7187, and you know, we're just trying to get along.
And thank you very much for allowing us to do so, sir. Thank you.
Okay, well, an ELMER should know better, should ask if the frequency is in use first. W2Q key.
Where are you, sir?
I was listening on the frequency and didn't hear anything, and went up to the 7190. I should have said that, but I didn't want to interfere with Jim's QSO because we're so close. And I was listening, looking at spectrum. You know, I was switching around. And I think what happened was I was listening to the wrong receiver. So I've got my receiver straightened out. I think I had one on 7192 because I did not want to offend those folks up there. I apologize, sir. I'm glad that whatever it was, you guys were chatting and you're letting us use the frequency. Thank you again. But we could move it if you need to. We'll be glad to honor amateur wishes. Well, Jim, I believe the gentleman has given us his blessing. And the other gentleman you were speaking to was whom, Jim?
I think it was Dave, K4PIW.
Dave, are you in there?
Yeah, we're still in here. Looks like the dishes is going to get a little bit of QRSB and they're moving around here a little bit. But yeah, we're still here. I come up here. I didn't hear anything either. And there you go.
All right, Dave, I'm on the 7300 with an AL80B and on an antenna that Jim built for me, a double bazooka inverted Z, and putting out about 800 watts, 900 watts, somewhere in that neighborhood. How are you copying me over copying Jim? Go ahead, Jim, take it up.
This is a KC9VKV, and we're actively challenging the 50-gallon drum final of Blue there. How do you copy?
Yeah, you dropped down. You were about 20 over. You dropped down about everything.
Somebody's on the Vox. I don't know who it is, but somebody's on the Vox. Please do not run the Vox. Just use a manual key. You're sneezing or breathing into the QSO. Anyway, Dave, how much are we falling out by now?
Yeah, you're still. It looks like you're down on the bottom cycle there. You're down about that 7 or
Oh, well, I can't even. I was hearing Dave better up in K3FEF.com. Now I can't even hear him all up there on the SDR. And I'm hearing him here. Thank you, Dave. I'm just doing a comparison. And, yeah, Jim likes to aggravate me about me running a 55-gallon drum for a tube. Back over you, Jim.
Oh, Roger. Well, Dave, I think our conditions have about run out down that way, so I'll say 3 to you. We did have a pretty good copy earlier. So when you go to YouTube and do a call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and then you look for a session that's entitled My Group Aircheck 1419, which is today's date. My Group Aircheck 1419. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, pretty cool. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We'll get that.
Mike, can you confirm that that's an SM27 microphone and SM27 over?
Yeah, is that a SM27 microphone, Dave?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. Dave, can you confirm that that's an SM27 microphone? Over.
Yeah, it's a Sugar Mike 27. Sugar Mike 27.
Roger on the Sugar Mike 27. Thank you very much. This is November 9 Golf Tango Oscar with KC9VKV doing the Qso-Vlog. Anybody out there wishing to listen to themselves, it will be uploading it to YouTube later on. You can go to KC9VKV on YouTube and look at the previous vlogs. We usually do a vlog, a 45-minute vlog every Friday. If anyone's interested in hear what the radio like to chat about, or chat about amateur radio, whatever you may cave, Mr. KC9VKV is in here at your disposal. N9GTO. Take it over, Jim.
Roger, Roger. Well, gosh, and we've been moving around frequency-wise, and I don't like to do that. Sometimes you just have to stick it out, but then you have blow-by that's twice as loud as. Wonder why that is. Why sidebands tend to be even more amplitude modulated QRM than modulation on the frequency direct.
Jim, it's damned you do, damned you don't, and I'm glad to hear that in a way, because that tells me we're utilizing the frequencies on a bad turn of 24 cycle. I have witnessed, I'm going to say around 4 cycles or better. And I remember the best of the best, and you was around in that time area to enjoy the best of the best. And matter of fact, just the other night, I was talking to WA1HLR, Tim up there, and QIX up in northeast corner of the United States there, with 25 watts on AM just the other night. And it was an amazing thing to have something like that come back alive. No amplifier, no nothing, just 25 watts on AM. But getting back to that, the QR Mary, I don't think anybody intentionally, purposely wants to cause any kind of interference with another QSO. I just acknowledge that the fact that we did have a 7192. They're usually doing a net on theirs. I try to stay away from the net frequency so that I don't cause any issues there. And then if I am causing an issue, all they got to do is just mention it, and I'll move on to something else. I'll find the place fit in where I fit in. But it's just a matter of we're just too close, or they're too close. I don't think it's purposely being done. I just think it happens where the ball bounces. And then sometimes, Jim, we'll have a conversation, and just out of nowhere, the band will open up. And I won't be hearing them, but they'll be hearing us. Then all of a sudden it'll open up, and we'll start hearing them. It's like that gentleman there. I was listening for a little bit there, and I didn't see anything on the spectrum on this frequency. That's why I referred us back down to here. Over.
Roger that. Well, we have to move ahead regardless of the situation, try to keep our heads down and do the best job we can. I just hate to drift too far away from 7189, since we've been there quite often, and for many weeks we had no problem, and then suddenly we're getting folks operating 2 KCOA, and after we've been on the frequency for half an hour and they start a QSO 2 KCOA, I just don't understand that. It just doesn't make any sense, but then that's life. We are recording. This is the KC9VKV Qso-Vlog program, so if you have a radio you want to check the audio, give us a shout. We are recording. It's KC9VKV.
Romeo India Mike.
Kilo Bravo 3, Papa Tango Alpha.
Kilo 4 Tango Foxtrot.
Kilo 4 Tango Foxtrot, go.
Yes, good afternoon. This is Bill in Holly Springs, North Carolina, where it's raining. And I think I'd like to take a part of this recording. Go ahead.
Roger. Now, tell me, sir, does your SWR shift around when it rains?
No, it doesn't, and I'll tell you why. Because I have a home-brewed inverted V multi-band, and all the wires are completely insulated.
Roger. Now, I think you may have an audio problem there. You were getting distorted, like maybe a loose wire somewhere.
RF.
Or RF, I'm not sure.
Before, and I checked the mic connection with
The desk mic.
Speaker.
I think it went away. You touched something and it went away.
Yeah, I think, is that a desk mic?
Yes, it's the HMFE 100.
It's back. It's okay now. Keep talking, sir.
Okay, testing 1, 2. I turned the RF power down, and let's see, what am I putting out now? And let's see, the processor, I turned the mic gain down and the processor gain down. I'm putting about 84 watts out now. I'm not hearing it in my speaker now.
All right, just out of curiosity, come up with your amp and let's see if it comes back.
Okay, I don't have the amp on, but I'm going to turn my power up to maximum power right now. There it is, 113.
No problem there. I would like to hear it if you get a chance to come up with the PA, and let's see if the problem comes back.
And real quick, I did want to acknowledge to several other stations out there that was calling because it was a big pileup. And Jim fused this guy. If you guys will hold on a little bit, we'll get you in here. N9 GTO. Sir, pick it back up with the amp on.
Okay, the amp isn't tuned for this frequency right now, so I'd rather not. But I'd rather not play with it. But I can tell you this: that I might have had the processor up too high, because I did turn the processor down, and my ALC looks better now. Do I sound okay?
Yeah, it sound good. I mean, you could use a little more fattening, you know, but it really sounded like just the a bad connection in the PTT circuit and the desk mic.
QSL, yes. Like I said, that did happen before, and when I moved the mic cord, it would come and go. So I opened up the mic connector, and I did find the ground was not really very solidly connected. I resoldered that, and I thought it had gone away. But it could have been the processor, I guess. Right now I turned the mic gain up a bit more, but the processor I left it as is.
The rig sounds good. What kind of rig is it, over?
It's a beautiful, good old Yaesu FT1000MP.
Yes, sir, I have one. You're limited to the bandwidth of 2.4 or 2.7, whatever. But for that sound, it sounds beautiful for that era of radio. Over.
Thank you. That's nice to hear. Yeah, I was very impressed with how good it sounds, and what a beautiful rig it is. So thank you very much for that.
That'll be Mr. Ferguson's next radio, the FT1000 Mark V.
Oh, well, no. I'd have to hold out for the 7300.
Oh, Lord, Jim. I'm just going to try to... He wants the 7300. Lord. I've been trying to take this 1200 and send it over there, and I know I've got an FT1000 Mark V. I should send that over. It's a 200-watt radio. And I thought, well, I got to send something over there, but I guess I'm going to have to send the 7300 over so he can read the manual 5 times and start helping people out. But going back to you, sir, with the FT1000 Mark, I believe you said that's the field. That's the 100-watt radio, right?
Right, the MP, yeah.
Beautiful sounding rig.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. I guess I was overdriving the processor, probably. That's probably what it was. So, well, thank you very much for picking me up, and let me get out of here so other people can take over a frequency. I don't want to hog it, and yeah, if I could take advantage of this recording activity, I'd like to do that. So this is K4TF Bill in Holly Springs, rainy North Carolina.
All right, there, go to KC9VKV and check out the vlogs, and you'll find today's date and time, and you'll be able to hear your audio. Sounds beautiful. The next station out looking for KC9VKV, please come on.
Bravo 3, Papa Tango Alpha.
K1 Bravo 3, this is KC9VKV.
This is Kilowatt Bravo 3, Papa Tango Alpha.
Roger, and what's the name there, please?
My name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and QCH is Connellsville, Pennsylvania. That's 40 miles south.
Roger. I just was trying to use one of the SDR receivers, but I still haven't found a favorable signal on the SDR. I don't know what's going on.
Change your frequency.
Oh, that's right. We changed frequency. The SDRs are on the wrong frequency now. I wonder what's going on on 7189.
Still not good. The station up there in Pennsylvania, can you come back, or Philadelphia?
It's in southwest Pennsylvania, 40 miles southeast of Pittsburgh. And the call sign here is Kilowatt Bravo 3, Papa Tango Alpha, and the name is Juliet India Mike.
Okay, Jim, you're real light on us, but like I said, we did get an audio clip of you. you're below you're right below the noise level. So I'll say 73 to you. Thank you for trying. We were listening on here in our own receivers as well as K3FEF.com, and we didn't hear you up there, so the band's long, so we're not hearing you locally out of Milford, Pennsylvania. So 73, God bless. And let's look over for another station. The other station calling, please call KC9VKV.
KG2DPO.
W9RMAA, come back to KC9VKV.
KC9VKV, the call is Whiskey 9 Romeo November Alpha, W9RNA, and the name is Bob, located in Hortonville, Wisconsin. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
Gosh, I didn't even copy the call sign. I'm sorry, sir, could you repeat the call sign, please?
Sure, Whiskey number 9 Romeo November Alpha. Go ahead.
Roger, and the name, please?
Sure, the name is Bob. Broken Old Bottles, located in Hortonville, Wisconsin, about 40 miles southwest of the city of Green Bay. Go ahead.
Roger that, sir. Sounding good. What radio are you running?
Oh, I've got an old-timer here. I'm running a Fox Tango 920, running 100 watts into off-center fed dipole, 160-meter dipole. And I'm using a $22 Radio Shack studio mic on a homebrew mount with no I've got some processing, but no equalization or anything. Go ahead.
Sounds pretty good, sir. Sounds pretty good. I would put maybe a little bit more processing to fatten the audio up, but, other than that.
Okay, I cranked her up a little bit. How does that sound? That any better?
Yeah, you're looking to be about maybe a 3 dB dynamic range, which is pretty much ideal. I mean, there are some radios that can do better than that as far as fatness. The 7610 has a thing called a drive control, and that thing takes off where the 7300 leaves off. I've seen that 7610 reduce the dynamic range to about half a dB, and looking at it on a VU meter, the VU meter starts to look more like a plate voltmeter. It just kind of moves very little bit, as opposed to what you would usually think about a VU meter as following the audio curve. The audio is so fat on that 7610 when they bring the drive up that it barely moves. It's an amazing radio. And the 7300 is a very, very nice radio also.
Oh yeah, I've played around with the 7300 before, and also 7610, but I picked this up 20 years ago, and actually 21 years ago now. I bought it in '98, and I've been just very happy with the radio. The 920 does it's my only radio I got. I traded in a Kenwood ES50. I actually gave that to another ham. I'm an Elmer too. And I've been sitting here listening to you gentlemen for quite a while, and your other Elmer there, he was talking about how many different sunspot cycles he's been through. The one I remember is the one I got started in ham radio back in '78. That was a really, really nice sunspot cycle where you could work 6 meters with 5 watts down into Australia. And well, I'll tell you, on FM, that was fun. But it's a long time ago too. But I'm just sitting here, and I know what the audio sounds like on here because I can hear myself back in the speaker set. And I've also recorded myself too before. I'm a retired telecommunications guy. Go ahead.
Oh, roger that. Roger that. Well, it's sounding good. And are you running like about 100 watts or so?
Yes, 100 watts. I don't have an amp anymore. I used to have an SP220, but that was probably about 20 years ago. Go aheer.
Roger, roger. Well, you can say hello to SP220 here, Roger.
It sounds like it. God, I missed that. Actually, the only thing I have left from my SB line, I had an SB401 with an SB303. The SB600, the 610, the 620, and the 640 digital display. And the only thing I've got left of that whole station is the SB600 speaker. Go ahead.
Oh, roger that, sir. Well, it's sounding good. Your radio's sounding good, and should be proud of it. And like I say, we have gotten it on not tape but digital, and we'll be uploading that in the next couple of days. So if you get a chance to drop by YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to the Qso-Vlog page, and then you look for a session that's called My Group Aircheck 1419. My Group Aircheck 1419. Roger.
I do have one question for you. Where are you located with an angle?
We are located just across the river from Louisville, Kentucky. We're in Indiana, just across the Ohio River from Louisville. Roger.
Oh, Roger. Okay, that answers the call sign then. We've got a guy who checks into the local traffic net. I'm a traffic handler, so I don't get on the radio too much here, just on the traffic net. And oh God, where is he at? I can't think of the name of the dang town right now. But it's just north of you in central Indiana. So, and by about the time 5 o'clock comes here at this time in central part of the time zone, 75 zone, we've been dropping down to 160 band. And of course, that's why I have a 160-meter dipole source. Anyway, thank you very, very much for letting me break in here. We'll let you work some other guys, and they're all itching to get on. I know that.
Oh. All right, sir. Thank you very much for contacting KC9VKV. The other stations out there wishing to get in here, come on in. N9GTO, please pick up KC9VKV for the Vlog.
Whiskey 8, Mike, Lima, Juliet.
Take it over, Jim.
Whiskey 8 station, one more time with the call sign, please.
Romeo, India, Mike.
Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
The Romeo India Mike station. What's the name?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was me you come back to. The call's Whiskey Bravo 8, Romeo India Mike. The handle here is Lee, Lima Echo Echo in eastern Ohio. Over.
Go ahead, Lou.
I'm in eastern Ohio, about 20 miles west of the West Virginia line, running a Kenwood TS-830S. Over.
Roger, Roger. Looks good. What the mic are you running there?
An old A-static 10DA. Over.
Roger. Is that dynamic?
Yes.
Roger that. Roger that. Sounds good. Like my thing is, add more top. I'm trying to close the gap between HF audio and VHF UHF audio. I think we can I think we can do a better job on HF as far as the clarity of the audio. It's just one of those things that if you're running a condenser mic or something, you have some added clarity there that really helps. If you're running a desk microphone, which is maybe dynamic, you might need to crank in a little on the top end just to try to clarify the clear water. Roger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the only thing I can do is kick the processor on. Way back in the mid-'80s, I put some Fox Tango 2.1 KC cylinders in it, and I took the stock hangers out. Let me kick the processor on. I have to make an adjustment here. Okay, the processor's on now. Let me turn the ARC back, and I'm running about 5 dB processor.
Well, unfortunately, Mother Nature pulled the plug. Your audio went right to underneath my noise level, and it's not your fault. It's just Mother Nature decided that she was going to come along with some new conditions. Roger.
Oh, Roger. I still have the processor on.
Well, with that said, we'll pull it over to another station. The other station calling KC9VKV. Please come in.
KD2 DTO.
KD2 DTO. Pick it up with Jim Ferguson, KC9VKV. Go ahead, Jim.
Roger, Roger. This is KC9VKV. Good afternoon, sir. What's the name?
New York. Handle here is Anthony. New York. So KC9KCV. KD2 DPO.
Roger, call is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. Lou, take it over for a minute. I want to try to bring my SDR on the right frequency.
Okay, all right. The station out there calling in, I got your DTO, and I didn't get the name. Come back with the name again. My name is Lou, and I'm 3 miles east of Jim Ferguson here in southern Indiana by Louisville, Kentucky. Over.
Yes, this is KD2, Delta Papa Ocean. Handle here is Anthony, and we're in Jamestown, New York.
Roger on the Jamestown, New York. Man, sounding good. And I'm not listening to the SDR. You're actually coming through the receiver here. I'm running a 7300 in southern Indiana. Like I said, we're right across 13 miles northeast of across the river from Kentucky Derby. And sounds good. Sounds really good. And I got the DPO. DPO, Delta Papa Oscar, up in New York, and thank you for the call-in. Let me let you put a final on it, and I'll let you sign, and then we'll pick it up with another one. Go ahead.
Yes, we're running here 100 watts with a dipole, MFJ dipole, 150 to turn. We're running a link of DSS R8 with antenna tuner 929 MFJ. So back to you there, and I'll say
Kilo 2 Lima Charlie.
Got you on there, Kilo 2. Hold on. Roger. Sounds good on the Linko and the dipole and the little the tuner he's talking about. All right, 73s, have a good day. Kilo 2 station, come on in. Charlie something. I didn't even write it down. Go ahead.
It's okay. It's Kilo 2 Lima Charlie.
How are you, sir? And Jim Ferguson, pick him up.
Roger, I can't bring up that SDR. I don't know what the trouble is. Anyway, that Kilo 2 Lima Charlie, what's the name there, please, sir?
Good afternoon, KC9VKV, K2 LLC. His name is Linwood. Lima, India, November, Whiskey, Oscar, Delta, Linwood. I'm in Lynchburg, Virginia, and when I was spinning the dial, you two guys sounded like you were in the same room with me. You're such a strong signal down here, 40 over at times.
Roger. Well, we're really just asking for 20 from Montreal to Miami and New York to New Mexico, but we will take the 40. Roger.
Roger. Well, I just wanted to jump in there quickly and say great signal, and I catch it that you're in Indiana, not too terribly far from Kentucky. So with that, it sounds like a bunch of stations are calling you guys, so I'll let y'all have at it, and I hope you're going to have a great new year. KC9VKV and the other station, K2 LLC, 73 Blue Sky.
Roger, Linwood, and we have been recording, and I've got you down, so if you want to hear what your audio sounds like, in the next couple of days we'll upload it to YouTube, and you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and that'll take you to a Qso-Vlog page, and on that page look for a session called My Group Aircheck 1419. My Group Aircheck 1419. Roger?
Roger, thank you so much, and have a fun rest of your day.
All right, sir. Anybody else out there wishing to work KC9VKV Vlog? Come on in now.
November 2 Zulu Alpha Bravo.
November 2 Zulu Alpha Bravo. I did catch a couple other stations. We're going to pick up November 2 Zulu Alpha Bravo next. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, November 2 Zulu Alpha Bravo. My name is Mark, and we're located in Palm Coast, Florida. You're about 10 over S9 here.
Roger, on Florida. Well, we're trying to make it down to Miami. Our mantra is Montreal to Miami and New York to New Mexico, but I never have gotten anybody out of Miami. Do you hear anybody out of Miami ever?
Well, Miami's a lost cause, over.
Brush up on your Spanish, Roger.
Yeah, you don't want to run out of gas there, unless you speak Spanish.
Roger. What kind of radio are you running, sir?
ICOM 756 Pro 2 and a highly modified Drake L4B. Running legal limit and a dipole at 30 feet, over.
Roger. Sounds good. What kind of antenna?
Yeah, dipole at 30 feet. Half-wave on this frequency.
Roger, just parallel to the Earth, no angle to it?
No reflectors, no nothing. Just fed with coax and a current balance.
Roger, no choke?
Yeah, a current balance, over.
Oh, right, Roger. And what kind of SWR, just out of curiosity?
Well, without the tuner, it's probably about a 1.8 to 1, and of course with the tuner, I can get it down to 1 to 1.
Oh, Roger. Now you got to. Now, I always say, the mark of a good antenna is how easy it is to get to the ends. And the easier it is to get to the ends, by and large, probably the lower the SWR will be, because you can get to it easier. It's those difficult ones that wind up with a 2 and say, okay, close enough.
Yeah, know what you mean. Let's see, audio lineup here, if you're interested, is a Behringer Pro 2, a large diaphragm condenser microphone, and a broadcast style audio chain, 6-band compressor, EQ, then into a Gettner Prism. It's an AM Prism, 4-band compressor and asymmetrical peak limiter, which we run on AM, but it works just fine here on sideband, over.
Roger, very nice, very nice. I am just constantly amazed at the lash-ups that folks use in their audio, and I think, by and large, when you start with a condenser microphone, I think you're going to have better results, Roger.
Yeah, I prefer the condenser microphone over a dynamic, especially with the high magnetic fields that are around in ham shacks, like due to big power transformers, over.
Oh, Roger that, yeah. And, the thing is, now, obviously your condenser microphone is a more expensive model, but you can do wonders with even the Electret, $2 Electret microphones, condenser microphones, Roger.
Oh, yeah. For years we ran the Radio Shack, a few dollar condenser microphones, and we machined, on the lathe a nice housing for it. And, played around with different sound deadening material and apertures. And it sounded rather nice. Of course, with an EQ, you can tweak it. But I thought I'd treat myself well for one of my birthdays and bought this. And actually, this isn't that expensive. At the time, they were only $100.
What are you using for a peak limiter monitor, over, on AM?
A peak limiter monitor? I'm not sure what you mean.
Have you ever seen the unit that it basically hooks up to the computer, and it shows you how many positive peaks and negative peaks the limiter, like QX, makes up there? He builds them, Steve, and those are real nice, very expensive, like $200. Or are you just using the scope to get your signal isometric on AM, over?
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure about the question, because since we're on sideband, the modulation monitor, of course, doesn't work. Yeah, we have a homebrew modulation monitor that is very much like the typical broadcast modulation monitor, with thumb wheels to set flashers for positive and negative peaks, and a meter for positive and negative peaks, carrier reference and all of that. And we are familiar with Steve's computer mod monitor, over.
Roger. Yeah, the name here is Lou, N9GTO, and I love AM too as well. And I do co-producing now with VKV here, over.
Oh, very good, Lou. All right. Well, let me say 7-3 and let you get on to some of the other stations that we're calling you, over.
Roger. Well, if you get a chance, like I say, we are air checking and have been since 3:30. And if you'd like to hear your beautiful audio, if you go to YouTube in the next couple of days and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that'll take you to the Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, look for Qso called My Group Aircheck 1419. My Group Aircheck 1419. Roger.
All right, we've got that. Thanks a lot, and appreciate the Qso. 7-3 for now, into ZAB. See you later.
Roger. Could I have your name again, please?
The name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo.
Roger, 3 is Mark. Have a good afternoon. KC9VKV in the Qso-Vlog program. If you have a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording.
W5 contact. Whiskey Sierra 4.
There was one station said contact. Who's that contact station?
W8RNE Mobile.
W8RNU Mobile. Whereabouts are you, Mobile?
Again is RNE, Romeo November Echo. Whiskey 8, Romeo November Echo. We are 15 miles east of Cleveland, Ohio. Right on the south end of Lake Erie.
Roger, Roger. Give me your name, please, sir.
Name is Rick, Romeo India Charlie Kilo. And back to you.
Roger, Roger, Rick. Well, that mobile's smoking, sir. It's kind of up and down, but when it's up, it's good, about 12 dB above my noise level, Roger.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, you're coming in about 15 over here, and just 100 watt. I'm running actually about 90 watts. It's a Yaesu FT891 with a ham stick.
Oh, great job, sir. Great job. Mobile's definitely getting out. No question about that, Roger.
Copy that. Yeah, you're sounding good, too. That's why I kind of jumped in there. I was kind of scanning through the bands you're driving, and you came in good. Just sounding good. The gentleman you were talking to was sounding good, too. So I figured I'd jump in and get a report here.
Roger, Roger. Now, that radio you're using doesn't have a pan adapter, right?
Well, not per se. I mean, it does. I mean, it does. You can put it in that mode, but it doesn't run in that mode.
Oh, Roger, Roger. It doesn't scan, right?
Correct.
Roger, Roger. Well, you're sounding mighty good there. And do you find when you take a left or a right that the signal varies?
Well, right now I'm heading west, so not really, not too much. My antenna is pretty much at the top of my truck, although it is in the back corner, but it is above everything, so it's up there. And yeah, I just turned the corner right now. I don't know if I'm going to drop out or not on you or not.
Well, now you did drop down a little bit. You were about a 12 dB above my noise level, and then you dropped. You lost about it looked like about 4 dB when you took that corner.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a little bit directional. I would have to think it would be just where the antenna's placed, but other than that, but you didn't drop out at all, so my receive is pretty good still.
Roger, Roger. What was the name again?
Name is Rick, Romeo India Charlie Kilo, and I'll be pulling into my yard here. You going to be on the radio for a minute? I'd like to get in the house and turn my radio on and get back to you.
Roger that. Yeah, it should be right here on 7187. We're usually on 7189, but this afternoon we're on 7187. So, yeah, give us a shout when you get there, sir.
Okay, I'm backing in right now. I should have it on, and give me 3, 4, 5 minutes, and I'll have her going.
All right, next station out there for KC9VKV call. Come now.
Whiskey 5, Delta Alpha Mark.
Whiskey Sierra 4, pick it up. We did hear at several other stations. Pick it up with KC9VKV.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the contact. Again, Whiskey Sierra 4, Tango X-ray. Actually located right now in Eastern Virginia. This came in from Maryland. And QTH is Virginia, South Central Virginia. And you're booming in here, buddy. You're like a 5'7", 5'8", and like the other station here. Heard you in here and just wanted to hop in and say hello and get a signal from you as
Pick it up, Jim.
Roger, that TX station, what's your name there, please, sir?
Name is Chris, C-H-R-I-S. Whiskey Sierra 4, Tango X-ray, name is Chris.
Roger, Chris, and whereabouts are you, sir?
Actually, pretty close to Richmond now. Richmond, Virginia.
Roger that. Now, are you stationary or are you mobile?
Negative, I'm mobile.
Boy, it's an afternoon for mobiles, back-to-back mobiles, Roger.
I hear you, Lima Charlie, friend. Just curious, the signal report on me.
Roger, I think Mother Nature might be shifting around just a little bit. You did drop down quite a bit there. Come back and let's see where you're going, sir.
You were about a 7 over right before you dropped off, or about a 7 over. Come back now again, sir.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I heard y'all talking to Lee McCollum at that time.
Yeah, no question. I'll talk to you for just a second so you can get a good feel for what's going on signal-wise.
Yeah, I copied you very well, and some of the other bands are definitely faded. And, so this looks like probably the best band to operate on at the moment.
So I've been jabbering enough. What do you think as far as signal?
Go ahead, Lou.
5 to 7 on you, 5 to 7, and right now, you know, amazingly enough, I have where the RF gain is at 0, and when I had it at 0 to get rid of the noise level, you were bringing up between the 1, the dot, and the 5, and then stayed between the 1 and the 5. So I had a steady copy on you and was receiving it quite well. So this radio here will be going over to KC9VKV, and he'll be keeping it for several weeks, doing the V-Log, the 7300. So we'll do some comparisons, and we'll be changing radios out from time to time. But I'm glad you made the call in, and I'll let you sign with Jim Ferguson, and we'll pick up another station. Go ahead and sign out there, Portable. Thank you for calling in, N9GTO with KC9VKV.
Okay, friend. Appreciate the QSO. Great conversation. And let me jump in here. Thank you, guys. 7-3, God bless. WS4PM.
Roger, Roger. Anybody else wishing to work the KC9VKV V-Log, please come in now.
Kilo Golf 5, Lima, Romeo, Sierra.
Kilo Golf 5, Romeo, Zolo, Zero, something. I got it. Come on back in there and try it again.
Yeah, it's Kilo Golf 5, Lima, Romeo, Sierra.
Take it up, Jim.
Man, I'm having a hard time riding double. Man, you are about 10 times louder than the incoming. Anyway, that Kilo Golf 5, Lima, Romeo, Sierra. This is KC9VKV. What's the name there?
Yeah, my name is Jerry. Juliet, Echo, Romeo, Romeo, Yankee.
Roger, Roger, Jerry. And whereabouts are you, sir?
I'm about 40 miles east of Dallas, Texas, in a little town called Quinlan, Quinlan.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Good on you, sir. We don't get much, for some reason, coming out of the west, but you're sounding very nice, Roger.
Well, I appreciate that. We're not running a whole lot, doing about 75 watts here on a inverted V up about 40 feet in the air, and we're running a Yaesu 991A.
Roger, Roger. Sounds good. Sounds good. And you look to be about 10 dB, at least above my noise level, Roger.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that you're also sounding good down this way yourself. So, but anyway, we were just kind of curious, happened to hear y'all in here, kind of running the frequencies a little bit, and we got nosy, had to find out what it was all about.
Roger that, Roger that. Well, we've got you down on tape, so if you want to hear what you sound like, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, you look for a session called My Group Aircheck 1419. Again, My Group Aircheck 1419. Roger?
Roger, sir. Okay, well, listen, I appreciate the comeback there for sure, and we'll get out of your way and let somebody else have it. So with the Kilo Golf 5, you have a blessed day.
Roger, Roger, Jerry. 3 is that away, sir, and you have a real good afternoon. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor in the afternoon Qso-Vlog page. We are on audio recording and video recording, and me looking like this between 3:30 and 5 Eastern. So if you got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
Norway 3, Quebec, X-ray, X-ray.
Norway 3, repeat your call sign.
Norway 3, Quebec, X-ray, X-ray.
Roger, Roger. And the name, please, sir?
Name is Chris, Charlie Hotel Romeo, India, Sierra.
Roger, Chris. Nice signal. How much power are you running there, sir?
I'm running about 400, I think. About around 400 watts.
Choice. And whereabouts are you, sir?
I'm sorry?
What's your location?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Roger. The location is Parkton, Maryland, Papa Alpha Romeo Kilo Tango November, Northern Maryland, just south of the Maryland-Pennsylvania line, pretty much in the middle of the state. Over.
Roger. Lou, come aboard there and talk to him for a minute. I'm going to still try to bring one of those SDRs up.
All right, good deal. Are you familiar with Brooklyn Bridge Road, Maryland? Are you familiar with that area?
Brooklyn Bridge, Maryland?
Yeah, Brooklyn Bridge Road. That's the road of it. It's in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm trying to think of the town that it's in, but the family's got a home up there, and I enjoy going up there because there's a rather large creek goes through the back there, and man, I could take a fly rod back there, and boy, I can just snatch the bass right out of that place. Over.
Oh, roger that. No, I'm not familiar with that. That looks like it's down in Laurel, Maryland, which is a little bit south. Well, a lot south of us. I live near the Gunpowder River. I'm right up the road from the Gunpowder River, where I do go down there and throw out my fly once in a while. Although I haven't had much time this year, it's kind of a shame. But no. But now that you mentioned it, I will look that up. I am now on my maps here, and I'll add it to my list. Thanks for the tip, N3QXX.
Roger. Yeah, it is a very nice little area there. That's a private. I wanted to let you know that's private, though. There's property back there that it's private property. I'm not sure where the creek is, how it is. All I know is if I walk in their backyards off the Brooklyn Bridge Road somewhere in Laurel, Maryland, you're right. Probably about 30 acres back, I got this creek, and it's just rolling with them small largemouth bass, decent size. I was just amazed at, the water coming through there and everything. I'm not sure how deep it was. I wouldn't get it. It was too cold, but boy, they were turning on. So, I'll let you, say 73s, and again, we're, today's date, and we start this at 3:30 and go to 5 o'clock, and I'm the co-producer with KC9VKV, and on producer, that is, and he's firing up the SDR site in the K3FEF. And by the way, just let everybody know, K3FEF is one of our, we promote that site very much because Michael's an awesome guy up there in Milford, Pennsylvania. He's got the right system up there. He's got it going on and constantly updating everything. So it's a great server and a service and for the amateur community to have more and more of the SDR receivers. So we use multiple of those if we're having bad main conditions and QRMR and so forth, and try to pick them up. But mainly the receiver site's KC9VKV, and he's using an analog rig, actually an FT990, and he's receiving you guys the old style way and diverting that with the DAC over to the YouTube channel. So I'll say 73s and good luck fishing down there in Laurel, Maryland, off of Brooklyn Bridge Road. I'm sure you'll find it because that's the same thing. I was told it was back there, and I went looking and I found it. Even a couple farm ponds too that I probably wouldn't walk to, but I went in there and had some fun anyway. 73 from N9GTO and KC9VKV, and let me get your name and call one more time, please.
X-ray, and by the way, you're about 10 over into my station here, and did I catch your call at N9GTO?
That's right, Chris, at N9GTO. You're 10 over as well, and I'm putting out about 500 watts of power. I'm running a single 3-500Z for what it's worth with a 7300. So thank you again for calling in, and we'll get Mr. Ferguson ready there for the pen. Mr. Ferguson, get ready to write. Any stations wishing to work the KC9VKV vlog, please come now. Call sign, please. And if there's several polyps out there, just remember, we're going to work you just one at a time. We'll get you in there. The next station, please, come on in.
Oscar Charlie.
Oscar Charlie, stand by. The W89QLU, please pick it up.
Yeah, Roger. We must be neighbors. You're about 40 or 50 over. I'm up on Silver Creek on Guthrie Road.
Yes, we are. I know where Silver Creek is. Mr. Williamson's old hideout. I know you know Williamson Oil Company. I'm one of the heirs of that family. Anyway, I know exactly where that is. I've had my cruiser up there. I've had a 30-foot cruiser all the way up into Silver Creek in your backyard, by the way, and turned it around and came back out. Put a pump in for old Uncle Bob. And with a 55-gallon plastic drum, I put a 220 pump in and buried it with concrete blocks with my cruiser, dropped it down, headed with the big boom over the side, and dropped it down in there in Silver Creek. And it's still there running today, even though he passed away in 2002 and sold the property. But buried that out there, and they still have all running water. Everybody there on the east side of New Albany has fresh running water for their lawn, and they don't have to pay that high sewer bill. And hello, neighbor, the N9 GTO. I'm here in Lanesville, Indiana, as well as the home in Blackston Heights off of Blackston Mill Road. Over.
Oh, okay, yeah. W9VKV, I believe it is, WJ9QLU. Yeah, we're on Gutford. Actually, my antenna, horizontal loop antennas, actually loop out over the creek and back in our property. We're out on the curve of the creek between Clarksville and Floyd County. And just run the 100 watts, so ICOM 718, nothing fancy.
Well, you're on Gutford Road right now. I'm in Clarksville. I'm on Elmwood Drive right now. So I back up to the farm here, the Ryan, the farm behind me where the Swin Bike Shop is. There's a farm back here, and this house here backs up to that. So I'm in Clarksville right now. So we're not too far apart. I can walk through the woods and get to you. 73s, thanks for calling. The other station out there calling, please come on in. The other one I told, stand by. Please come in.
Yeah, N9 GTO, I believe, and KC9VKV. This is WB4, Quebec Oscar Charlie.
Take him up, Jim.
Roger. What's the name there?
Okay, name here is Fred. QTH just north of Charlotte, North Carolina. And you're running about 20 over 9. The rig here is a 7610. New to me, the sitting over here was its predecessor, the 7300. I was goaded into getting the 7610 by I guess he's a friend of mine. And taking a quick look at your QRZ page, and I'm wanting to ask which major 50 kilowatt AM station.
WHAS in Louisville.
Oh yeah, sure. Very nice one. Very nice signal in here. And I was. I had a stint over at WBT as one of the engineers there. A couple of other smaller stations, around town, down in Florida. The few stations there. A station up just north of Syracuse for a while, where it got to like 30 below, and I said, "Forget this noise." So there you have it. KC9VKV, WB4QOC.
Oh, roger that. Now that's 7610. You're using the stock hand mic?
No, I've got the desk mic for it, the SM30.
Okay, is the SM30 dynamic or condenser?
It's, I believe it's a condenser mic.
Oh, roger that. Sounds good. Usually that hand mic does such an outstanding job for a stock come-along microphone, and usually most people just pull it off and put a desk mic on, a dynamic desk mic, and they lose a bunch of top end when they do, because a dynamic microphone just can't keep up with a condenser as far as upper frequency articulation.
Can you go in and just add a little highs to it over on the menu?
It's too new. Give me just 1 second. No, I tell you what. On the right now, real quickly, as far as the stock settings go, it's the transmit bandwidth is as wide as it goes. I would like to try, and I do have the advanced menu for it, or the advanced manual for it. I just haven't got around to doing it yet.
Roger, you have a button on the front called Quick. And you hit that, and your whole menu is right there.
Well, I tell you what, that quick menu gets me VFO/memory, meter select, and drive gain. You
don't have EQ on that?
Nope, sorry.
Roger. Well, it could use I would use about 3 clicks on the upper side, and I did hear some plosives, so you might want to check out a windscreen for that mic, you know.
Okay, I appreciate that. I may be working it just a little bit too close. Usually try to keep it a couple, 3 inches away. I do have the hand mic here. I can go in and try that. I've got no idea, how the levels are going to, be, but we can try it if you'd like.
Where you
A300 hand.
Where you're operating the mic now is just perfect. It's just a matter you were too close and you had a lot of bottom end build-up. But when you backed off mic, your EQ was nice.
All right, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. You had my interest there. I was in broadcast for 20 plus years, usually as the engineer, and had a lot of fun early on playing with audio. And trying to get the station sounding as good as it can. I was very fortunate early on to have a general manager, owner, chief engineer kind of take me under his wing and say, you know what, let's go ahead and get this thing, sounding okay. So we did that. We had, I wish I had that transmitter. We had a Collins 20V3. And when we finally got things correct with it, it sang. So there you go. And when you're the only, and this is back in the 70s, when you're the only kilowatt station, there's no FMs around, thank goodness, and everybody else is running 5K. You got to do what you can do. KC9VKV, WB4QOC.
Roger. Yeah, you walk down the hall past the transmitter, and you can hear the modulation transformer top end like a loudspeaker. I would go ahead and put a windscreen on that mic, though. If you get a chance, put your windscreen on it. It'll solve all the problems and not cause any. Roger.
Okay, QSL, appreciate that. Let me let you go. I'm sure there's other folks trying to call. And I've just got in here. I've been meaning to try to get in here into the radio room since this morning. But the XYL had his honeydew list. Now she's going to be here. She's going to be home in about 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and see what else I can find on the band. But thank you very much. Good to talk to you. And I'm glad to hear that there's another ex-radio personality that I've run into on the air. KC9VKV, WB4QOC.
Roger, sir. 3's that away, and your wife's going to be home, and I'm sure you're in hock with the honeydews for at least 5 years for being able to get the 7610. So you got a lot of honeydews to work off there, sir. We'll catch you later. 3's that away. KC9VKV. Go ahead, Lou.
And also, if you want to, you can go to N9GTO and scroll down a little bit, and you'll see about 2/3 of that Collins 20B3 sitting there with the pair of 4-400s modulating a 4-1000 N9GTO.
Well, now that you've got me curious about, because the 20V3 we had 2 4-400s in the modulator section and 2 4-400s in the RF section.
Yeah, I like mine better. I have 2 4-400s in the modulator, and I have 4-1000 and the final over. You can check it out. It's on the like I said, N9GTO. Just check it out. Scroll down there. You'll see the Jewel denial. Over.
You've done some modifications, sir. Very good. I'll go ahead and check that out. N9GTO. Very nice call, by the way. WB4QOC.
Roger. And if you're interested in hearing your audio, we have been recording. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that'll take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, you'll be looking for a Qso-Vlog titled My Group Aircheck, 1419. My group Aircheck 1419. Today's date.
QSL, thank you much. WB4 Qso.
All right. Any other stations wishing to work the KC9VKV Qso-Vlog, please come in.
Recheck.
Recheck, come on in.
Whiskey 8, Romeo, November, Echo. Back to you. You guys still copy me?
Yes, sir. Take him over, Jim.
Yeah, go ahead. What's the name?
You got Rick here. I was just talking to you in the mobile.
Oh, Roger. You made it to the QTH and got your stuff fired up, Roger.
Yep. I had to let it warm up a little bit. I went and let the dog out and came back, and you guys, when I first got here, I turned the radio on, you guys kind of dropped out. The band kind of dropped out a little bit. Went and let the dog out, come back, and boom, you're right back.
Roger. Now, we should be doing 20 overs there.
Yeah, you're right about 50. Yeah, you're 15 to 20.
Roger. And how much power are you running on that base?
Right now, right around 450.
Roger. Well, you're about 15 dB above my noise level, so really good signal, Rick.
Awesome. Yeah, I like this. I'm running a 7300 with an 811H and into an end-fed about 30 feet in the air flat top.
Roger. Well, you got the right radio for sure. That 7300 is beautiful radio. And how long have you been running it?
I've had it now for about a year, maybe a little over a year.
Roger. Now you probably bought it when it was $1,200.
Actually, it was a little more than that.
But you got the power supply with it, Roger.
No, I had to buy the power supply. It was I think the radio itself was like $1,250.
Roger. But you've had a year of use over everybody else, Roger.
They did start out at $1,599.
Yeah, they were up there for a while when they first came out. But yeah, I didn't get it when it first came on the market. I waited. I might have been 4, 5, 6 months.
Roger. Now you're in the widest mode possible.
Yes, sir.
Roger. That's the only way to run that. And 100 watts. I ran into a guy the other day that was running 50 watts. I told him, man, that's almost a sin to run that radio at 50 watts.
Yep, that's I'm putting in about the radio set about 45 watts, and I'm getting about 450 out of it.
Excellent. I wouldn't want to put any more in there because you're not going to get much more out of it, and that amplifier will last you forever the way you're running it.
Yeah, I don't ever push anything. Even the radios, I won't. The mobile, I got 100 watts, and I don't even run that at 100 watts, so I don't like pushing it to the limit.
And Rick, your dynamic range is about 2.5 dB, so you have a really fat audio signal.
Yeah, the mic is a Heil headset, Micro Pro or Pro Micro headset. It's just a small double ear headset. I love it. I like it more than a regular microphone.
Damn, that sounds good.
Well, the thing is, you're never off mic.
Yeah, I'm not using a Vox on it. I am using a key button, but the Vox is just too crazy. I got dogs around here, and they start barking and key to mic and all that stuff. So I got to watch how I do all that.
Oh, Roger. Yeah, and if it's not dogs, it's snoring. There's a lot of channels that wind up with snoring for hours.
Yeah, snoring or coughing or clearing your throat and all that stuff. So I use the button. I don't mind. It's just a pushing of a button, so it works all right for me.
Roger that. Well, if you get a chance, drop by YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, and that'll take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, look for a session called My Group Aircheck 1419. My Group Aircheck 1419. Roger.
Hey, Roger that. What was the name there? I didn't catch your name when I was in the mobile.
The name is Jim, and the other guy there is Lou.
And Lou, and his call was K8GTO?
No, my call is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, and Lou's is N9GTO.
N9GTO. Yeah, okay, I got it. I thought it was K9GTO. Okay, I got her down now.
Roger. Well, 30 Rick, you have a real good afternoon, Roger.
Hey, copy that, Jim. Appreciate you picking me up, and I'm glad I got to hear. I'm going to go listen to it. What do you say, a couple days it'll be in?
Yeah, at least. It'll probably be sooner, but don't hold me to it.
Yeah, okay. No problem. I'll just check it. I'll check it out occasionally and look for it. Appreciate you picking me up. You guys have a great night and good weekend. We'll talk to you later. KC9VKV, K9GTO, or N9GTO, W8RNE. We'll be clear. Thanks.
All right. Any other stations wishing to work the KC9VKV coming out?
Whiskey 5 Delta Alpha Mike.
Whiskey 5 Delta Alpha something. Please come.
Whiskey 5 Delta Alpha Mike.
Go ahead, Delta Alpha Mike.
That's Whiskey 5 Delta Alpha Mike. My name is Donald. I'm in Dallas, Texas. And I'm running a little Fox Tango 991A and a $2 condenser mic that goes to my cell phone.
Oh, roger that. Well, it sounds pretty good. Might need just a little more top-end EQ, but other than that, you're making the trip in good style.
Okay, well, I've been told it does have a lot of lows, and I haven't had the radio but a couple of weeks, and I haven't figured out this equalizer yet, just how to make that happen, but maybe I can.
Roger. Well, just take note. You're not too heavy in the bottom end, but you're kind of light on the top end as far as articulation. So when you figure out what's happening with the EQ, just crank in 3 clicks or so on the top end EQ and leave everything else like it is. Roger.
Roger. I appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks for the contact. Which, oh, by the way, you're 10 over 9. W5DAM, Donald in Dallas.
Roger, Donald, and you are 12 dB above my noise level. I can't give you a real S-meter reading because I'm running a reduced RF in the front end, so you get a cleaner signal staying below AGC compression. But you are 12 dB above my noise level since I'm looking at the output of the audio on a VU meter, and I've got you set for 0 level, and when you cease speaking, it drops down and reads my noise level. So you are 12 dB above my noise level, and in a lot of ways, that it falls in line with the actual S-meter reading, you know. So I'm just saying you're 12 dB above my noise. Roger.
Roger. I just looked. You've gone to 20 over. I'm putting about 15 watts into an ALS 1300, and it's putting out about 500 watts. Yeah,
Roger. Yeah, the only thing I would say would be to add some top end to your EQ to brighten your syllabic range, the articulation a little bit. That's all you need.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. And by the way, the antenna is an inverted V up about 40 feet. Works real well for me. Thank you. 73.
Roger, Donald, doing real well. And if you want to hear yourself, we are air checking. And if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that'll take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, look for a session called My Group Aircheck 1419. My Group Aircheck, today's date 1419. Roger.
Roger. I had it. Thank you very much. 73.
Roger. 3 Zetaway, sir. Have a good afternoon. It's KC9VKV with Lou and 9GTO. Go ahead, Lou.
Kilo Delta Noise. Kilo Mike Victor.
The Kilo station, come back again.
Kilo Delta Noise. Kilo Mike Victor.
Roger. And what's the name?
Name here is Mike, just outside Chicago. Over.
Roger. And let me see, you're running about 100 watts. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, that is correct. Running an IC7300 seems to be the flavor of the day. Over.
Oh, Roger. Sounds good. You're running in the widest position possible?
Actually, I think I have it on the mid-range right now. Over.
Roger. I would run that radio widest possible. There's no reason to sacrifice your top end. Run it 100 to 2900, sir. That's what I would at 100 watts.
Is that a 7300?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a menu in there that's got narrow, medium, and wide. You know, you got 3 different things, from the bottom to mids to the top, and just run all of them wide as they'll go. And you can experiment with the treble and bass, and just listen to yourself. And you got compression there too. You can add some compression in there, N9 JTM.
Yeah, Roger. I just changed it to the wide setting. I don't know if that's made much of a difference, though.
Oh, yeah, top end is much more apparent. That's the way I would run that, you know. And what mic are you using?
I'm actually running a desk mic. I know the hand mic gets very good reviews, but I just needed to have something to allow hands-free, so I'm running one of the Icon desk mics. So.
Roger, sounds good. I'm copying you just maybe 4 dB above my noise level, but what I can hear sounds really good, Roger.
Yeah, okay, appreciate the report. Many thanks. Yeah, I mean, you're coming through here. I'm just outside of Chicago, about 20 miles outside, and you come through 59 plus 10 if the meter's anything to go by, and obviously your audio is pretty good as well. So appreciate the report. Back to you from KC9VKV.
Roger. And if you want to hear yourself in your audio, if you go to YouTube in the next couple of days and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to the Qso-Vlog page, and then look for a session called My Group Aircheck 1419. My Group Aircheck 1419. Roger.
Roger. I will do. Many thanks. It'll be interesting to hear the difference between the two settings I just had. Thanks again, and I wish you a great weekend, and if it's not too late to do so, then a Happy New Year as well, from KD9KMV.
Roger, and the name was Mike?
Yep, that is correct.
Roger, Mike, 3 set away, sir. Have a good afternoon and evening, too, and we'll catch you later. This is the KC9VKV and the Qso-Vlog page.
Whiskey 4, Whiskey Kilowatt, Germany.
Kilowatt Germany station. Come back with the call sign once again.
Yes, it's Whiskey 4, Whiskey Kilowatt, Germany. And the name is Kevin, Kilo Echo Victor India, November.
Roger, Kevin. Whereabouts are you, sir?
Helena, Alabama, about 15 miles west of Birmingham.
Oh, Roger. Now, let me see. You're running 800 watts.
No, I'm actually running a radio barefoot, which is a ST1000D, so I'm doing about right at 200 watts.
Nice. Yes, nice signal, sir. You're good to 12 dB above noise.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, you and GTO were both coming in here just steady 10 over 9 the whole time I've been listening for the last 20 or 30 minutes.
Roger. Well, I got to hold his hand, you know. He was trying to do this thing of a barefoot radio and some kind of haphazard antenna, and I said, hey, you can't do that. Come on. And so he has risen to the occasion today.
Well, he's doing a good job. It sounds great. I heard him say he was on a 7300. Those are nice rigs, have a lot of settings. This old rig is what it is. There's not much you can do to just get on it and talk.
Roger. Well, you'd be interested to know that your dynamic range is about 2 dB, so that is a really, really fat audio signal, Roger.
Yeah, I am running a RE27 mic on it, and I've had some good reports with it. I've tried the Yaesu mics and the Heil mics, but this one seems to be best suited for this particular radio.
Well, it sounds good.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm running the EL80B with the 7300, and Jim will be running the 7300 for long. It's just a matter of who, what, when, and where, and how, but we'll get to that. I've got a 1200 I've been wanting to send over to him for a while, and he's kind of reluctant to change around, but I got a feeling, now you're not going to believe this, Jim is talking on a radio that I bought 33 years ago, brand new, an FT990 Yaesu. I bought it brand new. It's never been opened up, and mainly all it did here was receive a lot in the early days, because the wife loves it. She used to listen to Hugh Brunson, A4N. She was in love with that man over the radio. She loved listening to him every night, and that's what it did. And then I cut a deal with Jim on it. Jim wound up with it, thank God, because it was just taking up room over here. And he's not done anything externally or internally. Everything's done externally. You know, a little EQ in here, a little there, this, that, and everything. And and wait till you hear your signal on.
That's what he thinks.
That can't be coming from a 990, but he manages to finagle and finagle, knowing that he's a production engineer and a broadcast engineer. Combination. He did a little bit of everything. As those guys were over boozing it up in the engineering department, Jim had to go in there and actually fix the damn thing. So, but he's kind of odd, just like me, and we approach things from a different level, but we get things done, getting her done. You sound real good, and I love those radios. Those are nice rigs. And yes, you're right. The 27, the RE27 is to an FT or the Yaesu, the 1000D, the 1000 Mark V. The RE27 adds value to the damn thing. That's the only thing I can get to work on mine. Sound good. 73s. I'll turn it back over to you, and you can finish it up with Jim Ferguson. This is N9 GTO.
All right, thank you, sir.
Roger. Well, let me say threes down that way. You keep everything. I would take super glue and Gorilla Tape, whatever it takes to make sure things don't get moved around. Roger.
Yeah, I don't fool with one much. I've got a good friend that's an engineer, and I always, when I go to set up a different radio, that's who I call on the radio, and he knows me personally. He knows what I sound like, so he knows what I like to hear. So I appreciate it, and I'll be interested to check it out in a couple of days and see for myself. You guys take care. I think this is a great thing you're doing. It gives a lot of guys the opportunity to hear what they can't normally hear. So good to meet both of you. Maybe we'll do it again some other time. W4WKG. See you next time.
Roger. Threes down that way, sir. Have a good evening. It's sounding great. You'll love the Aircheck. YouTube, KC9VKV. My group Aircheck 1419. That's all the essentials. Threes other ways, KC9VKV.
Is there anybody else wishing to do an air check with KC9VKV? Please come now. Hotel Zulu, please come now.
Thank you very much. Looking for an audio check. ICOM 7300, running 100 watts into a dipole antenna about 40 feet tall. The name here is Mike, Mary Idaho Kilo Echo, and the QTH is Fairfax, Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. Back to you.
Great sound, sir. Great sound. What was the call phonetically again, please?
You bet. I'm so sorry on that. It's Whiskey Alpha 8, Alpha Hotel Zulu.
I got you. Sorry. I have dyslexic fingers.
Yeah, I can understand how that is. I've had a rather busy day. In fact, I don't have your call sign either.
Roger. Well, my page runneth over. Usually I try to get everything on one page, but today's been really active. My partner in crime, Lou N9 GTO, has been breaking the sound barrier on stations. We've processed quite a few stations this afternoon, Roger.
Well, that's a good thing, and we appreciate that service. I've been doing some tinkering here with the radios. In fact, tore the shack up this afternoon to have a brand new ham show come over with his radio and allowed him to, if you will, hook his radio up to my antenna. And he walked out concluding that he needs to do some more antenna work, because he could get a whole lot more copy on my antenna than he could on his, both in sideband as well as in digital mode. So, and that's kind of what I told him when I went over to his shack. But to do that, I had to kind of tear up my shack to get to everything. So it looks like everything's back in order. Back to you, over.
Roger. Now, was he running a particularly high SWR or what?
No, that's the thing. The SWR on his antenna, and I checked it personally 2 weeks ago, was maybe 2 to 1, not excessive. It is a little bit short. We're going to lang it. We're going to make it longer. Physically, we're going to make it longer. I think that'll allow him to be closer to 1 to 1. But he just doesn't get the copy I get, and he's down in a hole. But that shouldn't make any difference. The antenna is a good 35 feet up in the air. It's a 40-meter antenna. So you would think that he'd have enough takeoff angle, even if he is down in a hole. Over.
Roger. Well, a hole doesn't make any difference because you're talking about skywave, not ground wave. So, lower altitudes from the standpoint of topographical situations are not really very relevant, since most of it's skywave and very little or none is ground wave. So the only thing I could think of is your antenna's running which way, and which way is his antenna running?
Good point. I don't know which way his antenna's running. I need to go check that. And mine's running more or less east-west. That is to say, broadside east-west.
Roger. Well, yeah, he might. There is, some folks say it doesn't make any difference, but I beg to differ that, the radiation pattern is usually broadband. The main lobe is broadband to the transmission, or to the radiating line. So, it does make a difference. And, if you want to run east and west, orient your antenna north and south, and there you go.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was taught that, Triumph, so I agree with you. Hey, thanks a lot. I know there were a couple other people I heard calling when I was calling in, but could I get your call for the logbook? And I do appreciate the signal report.
Roger. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, Jim, and Lou, N9GTO. And I have a website on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to the Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, look for a session called My Group Aircheck 1419. My Group Aircheck 1419, today's date.
Well, thank you. I've heard you several other times on the band about this frequency, about this time of day, and appreciate the service that both and your colleague play. So thanks, Mark 73, and we'll be checking out the website KC9VKV WA8AHZ. I'll be clear.
Roger, Mike 3Z away, sir. Have yourself a good afternoon. And with that, I think we're about ready to wrap her up there, Lou.
We're going to take one more. Who's the lucky caller now?
Kilo Echo November.
Charlie Juliet Delta with a 7610, over.
The 7610, please come back.
Kilo Charlie 1, Charlie Juliet Delta, over.
All right, come back to Jim Ferguson one more time.
Kilo Charlie 1, Charlie Juliet Delta, over.
Roger. Now, did you have some reverb on there in the beginning?
I talked with you a couple of weeks ago, and I really didn't know how to get into the menu. I worked my way through it a little bit, and I don't know how I'm sounding to you, over.
You're beautiful. It sounds beautiful. Now, that you're running which radio?
The 7610, over.
Oh, I think you found all the bells and whistles. I think you have unlocked all the bells and whistles there. Your dynamic range is somewhere around a dB, which is an amazingly fat signal. Roger?
Yeah, I have my compression set on wide. I went into the menu, and I went into the TX tone setting. I set the treble at 3, but I don't know what to set the bass at, over.
Nothing. Set it just like it is. Get the super glue, the Gorilla Tape. You got it going right where it is.
Well, thank you very much. that makes a difference to me, because I know as far as sending a signal out, my voice will actually punch it up a little bit higher, over.
Well, I don't think. Now, you might be able to do better, but I don't see how, since your dynamic range is 1 dB. Now, I have seen that radio do half a dB dynamic range, but I think where you're running it is a lot better at 1 dB dynamic range. It's just unbelievably fat audio. Roger?
Roger on that. I'll leave the bass alone. And I also teamed it up with an SM50, the Icon mic, and I'm driving that at about 70%, over.
Roger that. And you're in wide all the way, Roger?
Yeah, compression set on wide, it says, yeah.
Roger. Sounds good, so I wouldn't change a thing. You check it out on YouTube, do a call letter search, KC9VKV, and then that'll bring up the Qso-Vlog page, and on that page, look for one entitled My Group Aircheck 1419. My Group Aircheck 1419. Roger?
Roger on that. I'll do that. I just brought my TVW up, and it says wide, and it says level 3, over.
Roger. Yeah, beautiful. Just leave it like that. Don't change a thing. Make a note of where everything is. Write it down. Don't change a thing, though.
I've got it written down, and I'm going to keep my little fingers away from it. That's why I use a mouse with a 24-inch screen on the back of it to key around the frequency there. Over.
Oh, Roger, such a beautiful radio, and you've got it set up so nice. Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing, sir.
Roger, man, it's only 100 watts to an offset center-fed dipole with the apex at I think it's just about 30 feet, and it's pointed north-south. So I'm probably coming out easty-westy. Over.
That's every ham radio's dream right there.
Well, I kind of thought so. I looked at the flex, and they weren't moving along that quick. And ICOM generally doesn't put anything out unless they pretty much bomb-proofed it. Over.
Oh, yes. All right, we're going to say 73s to you. I'm going to call one more for me, and I'll be talking with you. Jim will be doing the writing, and we're going to record one more. So please come now. The stations, please come now. N9 GTO. I got a contact, and I got number 2 Yankee Golf. Let me pick the contact up first, and I'll work the number 2 Yankee Golf, and it'll be done. Contact, go ahead first.
Okay, thank you very much. This is with C3, Sierra Mike Foxtrot, W3 antenna, running an ICOM 7300, barefoot 75-foot long wire antenna, name is Echo Delta. We're in Pennsylvania.
Roger, Roger. Sounds really good for our Air ICOM 7300. Sounds really good. Thank you for calling in on the KC9VKV Vlog here today. It'll be posted up late tonight or early in the morning. Just go to KC9VKV on YouTube and look up the date, my call, and look up today's date, and you'll be able to retrieve the data. So with that saying, say 73, and I'll turn it over to the other calling station. Go ahead.
Sir, it'll be within a couple of days. I'm cutting myself a break. Within a couple of days, it'll be there for sure. But it might be there sooner, but a couple of days for sure.
All right, last station. Come on in there.
I just wondered how you...
Well, you guys are 30 over S9. Most of you are 30 over S9. This is W3, I connect 73.
A barefoot TS870 with an MC60 mic.
The barefoot TS870. Wow, sounds good. Let me get your name and call sign, sir.
Oh, sure. It's November 2 Yankee Golf N2YG. My name is Kevin.
Hello, Kevin. My name's Lou. How do you do? My other partner over there is KC9VKV, Mr. Jim Ferguson. And the rig sounds beautiful. How high is the antenna? What kind of antenna is it?
Well, I'm embarrassed to say it's an end-fed 10 to 40, and it's only about 25 feet up in the air.
Good deal, good deal. Let me get your location one more time for the record.
Oh, sure. I'm on Long Island, New York. I'm in Suffolk County in a town called Comac, C-O-M-M-A-C-K.
Roger, Roger. Well, this concludes the KC9VKV Vlog. We're going to hang in here a few more minutes and do a little rag chewing here and there while Jim wraps everything up. We're having a whole lot of fun with it. Jim is somewhat, and again, for those who didn't make it, we'll be back here again next Friday around 7185 to 7188. Just look for us, and we'll start around 3:30-ish, and we'll work on up to 5 o'clock. We went over to 5, actually it's 5:19 now. But it was a little overwhelming for Jim. I'm running a DAC recorder over here as well, so if there's anything Jim didn't get, I'll have it as well. And we can go back and forth. But we're actually using Jim's FT990 Yaesu, which is a 34-year-old radio I bought new. And Jim is going to be going to a 7300 here shortly. It won't be long. He'll be moving over to a 7300. And then that way we can do our comparisons. Are we improving on the vlogs as far as the incoming signals and so forth and so on? I myself, Jim has EQ'd both the incoming and the outgoing of the old 990 to compensate for its, 2.4 filtering and all that. He's done a very good job. And being in the broadcast engineering industry, he's seen things I don't understand. And I just say, go on, do it, Jim. How you're getting a radio transmitting 3 KCs, I don't know, because the damn, the passband filters are only good for 2.4. But again, he didn't go inside of it, and neither have I. It's got the factory seal on it. So I'll say 73s to all you guys. We'll be in here for a little bit on round 2. And again, anybody that missed it, didn't get in it, please try us again next Friday. I'll turn it over for Jim to do a final sign on this one. This is N9 GTO. Take it over, Jim.
Roger, Lou. Well, we survived cheated death again. Anyway, we've enjoyed it from 3:30 till 5, and somewhat thereafter, almost 5:30. So we're working long hours here. But we're going to wrap it up for today, and we will be back next Friday. So if you get a chance to join us, and in between then, within a couple of days from now, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, look for a Qso entitled My Group Aircheck 1419. My Group Aircheck 1419. So between now and then, you guys have a good weekend, and we'll catch you later, and we'll see you next Friday at 3:30 on 7189 or somewhere in there. You'll be able to hear us. We do a 20 over from Montreal to Miami and New York to New Mexico, so you'll find us. Threes other ways. Have a good afternoon. This is KC9VKV, and I think Lou's going to hang in there, so we'll say threes for now, and we'll be clear.